Tonight I am joined with Stuart, the one and only champion of last season, of course. And yeah, welcome to the stream. And obviously, I'm F1ology. So, how are you doing this evening? Yeah, good indeed. Thank you for asking. Also excited to be, well, for the first time ever, co-hosting with you on ERL. And obviously, is your first time doing comms, so welcome to the commentator room, I suppose.
It is. Thank you.
Any
Feels different being on this side.
Indeed, it's very different on this side. Less stress,
A lot
actually.
less stress.
You don't have to worry about any mad moments, or even though you don't
Yeah,
have
it's
many
true.
mad moments really, um, or any final lap championship, corner wins.
No, not me. Definitely not me.
Anyway, any predictions for tonight on who's going to win this one around Imola? No.
Speaking of championship, should we get up the standings?
Yeah, indeed. If you'd like to go through, obviously those, sure our viewers be happy to hear who's leading and who's doing well, of course.
Same.
Yeah,
Quite close.
yeah,
Let's see.
indeed. And well, constructors is obviously also looking quite close as well. With
Alpine nearly 72 points ahead for them. So
yeah,
it looks to be they could probably wrap that up this week. It's a close battle between Red Bull and Aston Martin. 7 points separate them with 3 races to go, so that could be a very interesting battle for these next 3 races.
indeed. Um, Also, Hassan Mercedes, another interesting battle maybe to keep an eye on for
They've got
3 races.
a 9 point gap as well. So yeah, it's all heating up. And to be fair, Haas and Mercedes aren't too far behind.
No,
Second and third place, so a couple of good results to finish the season. They could boost themselves into third or second.
yep, indeed. So obviously, the Imola circuit is well based in Italy, in the Tuscany region, I think, if I'm correct in saying. Obviously, iconic circuit for many different reasons. Obviously, 1994, obviously 30 years since that obviously tragic weekend. And also, then I think it's the 2005, or was it 2006? You had them epic battles between Schumacher and Alonso. Um, but also many other great moments around this Imola circuit. And if you'd like to maybe go on board with Einkid and talk us around a lap. Yeah.
10th by Ulster.
Only a tenth behind Neil, so obviously Neil's so far the quickest driver out there.
And then Bob goes for original pole on a set of mediums.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, that is a very good lap on mediums indeed, because rest are on softs. Even though it should be said, Haas Nagel, he's on softs, and Lucky Egg, not softs, sorry, mediums. And Lucky Egg is also on medium, so I've got a few medium runners out there, but yeah,
Very good lap from Bob.
indeed it is. So we're on Shiphois, who is coming through then the middle sector towards Ravazza, then, which is down the hill at the final two corners. So heading down the hill for then Shiphois, obviously quite a decent driver, usually.
Yeah, they've got the top 10 set up.
So
Themselves down in P5.
let's see what this lap's going to do. Goes P7 ahead of the Red Bull Lucky Egg for now, but behind then Haas-Nagel, so not a bad lap. However, certainly room for improvement.
Who's going to say it now? Very comfortable so far. He's on and out in that bit. Right on set of medium across the line. Let's see what he can say.
Yeah, was watching his off-board, did have a moment at the chicane, running out wide, so not ideal, but goes ahead of his teammate. Yep, so that's certainly something to be decent or proud of course. So right now Bob looking really strong though, on those one mediums.
He's known for winning races. I believe last time we were here as well, he did take the win. But he is known for...
Yeah, Mafasa's known for Qatar, because he had a great race last week, getting P3, I believe it was. In fact, he's actually probably been my standout driver of the season, like especially in qualifying. He's really upped his qualifying pace overall. So the other Williams though, Ralphie's just begun a lap as he goes through the Tamburello chicane and then into Villeneuve, through into Tosa. 24.8, that's a fairly decent first sector for himself. Maybe let me just see if I can adjust your mic volume quickly. Right. I think that should be a bit better now. Let me just...
wouldn't come up on my end.
So it wouldn't be that. I just want to quickly check the... Have you got share your voice on?
I do. Let me double check that.
Because that could be the one thing. So I presume that's switched on, yep. Or
Yeah, I mightn't. I don't know why it wouldn't.
just gonna quickly see.
Ferrari are the only team to have raced in every single season of Formula One. 2014 ushered in a new set of regulations that saw us enter the turbo hybrid era of F1 car development.
If you just speak now, if that's okay, just say a few words.
From 2.4 litre V8 engines to 1.6 litre turbocharged V6 power units. Along with this came integrated complex digital systems such as ERL. Hello to everyone here and welcome, and a special shout out to our VIP guests, Lars Hammer.
Because everything I can see should be on.
Right, just want to check. So,
Should have probably tested this for.
yeah. My voice came through okay. It's just your voice at the moment.
I can hear myself in the stream. We're good. I can hear myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
Cool. Seems like we've missed quite a lot.
Yeah, we are.
My fault, guys. I do apologise.
No, it's not your fault. It's all good. So, anyway.
Our champion.
I'm not superstitious, but in a long and fruitful history of F1, no one with the surname Hill has ever failed in winning a world title. For example, Graham Hill, Dave Hill, and Phil Hill are all previous world championship winners. F1's distinctive sound throughout the decades is in part due to the high revenue
Into the final two corners he goes.
2000s.
Up the hill. Up the hill. Stopping it straight.
Apparently, Charlie Harris has suggested maybe turning up your mic volume a little bit.
It's on max.
Is it? Gonna try and see quickly if got another way of trying to,
Yeah.
get your volume better.
Yeah, I can't turn it up any higher on my one.
Fair enough. What do you use? Do you use headphones, like speaker microphone?
Yeah, I've got actual headset. I've an actual headset, but
Oh, fair enough. Cool. Right. Gonna try and adjust your volume, so then what that does, and hopefully that might work better. And
I've tried up in the setting and it's closed my game.
right, there we go. Now, hold on, don't change anything. Right. Now speak.
Hello? Is it better now?
Give it about. I think it sounds better, to be fair now.
Let me hear on mine as well. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's very quiet for me.
It's still quiet though.
Yeah.
I've literally just what I've done. I've adjusted the game balance audio, so for now should be more less game noise a little bit and more party noise. I think.
Let me see if I can turn my audio settings down.
That makes sense then.
No, it wouldn't make any sense on for the game. Right, I'll let you take control of the last 3 minutes.
Okay, cool. Right, so who's then on a lap? Lucky Egg's just improved, I think, or just begun a lap, actually. He's just begun. And he's right now going through then the first few corners. And unfortunately, he's off into the gravel, then there, and that's going to be his lap, unfortunately, over. Which, fortunately for him, well, he will have time to set another lap, of course, but he's therefore going to have to recharge the battery. So next we'll go then on board with Brian, who's just about to begin a lap. Here then comes Brian towards the start-finish line as he crosses it now and goes into turn 1. Hits brakes around, I think, the 100-meter board here, if I'm correct in saying. And then into then the Villeneuve chicane. Then into Tozer, up the hill. And, oh god, good exit out of Tozer. Down the hill then into the valley. As Ralphie's retired, so that's one less driver in the hunt for pole now. As Dan currently sits top with a 1:14.6. And unfortunately for Brian, that's his lap invalidated as he took a bit too much track limits at the chicane. Now, how is Mufasa doing? Obviously, is on a lap, and I'll say he's 3/10 up on his current best lap time, which is a 15.7. So therefore, with him 3/10 up, potentially could get into the top 3 here. And if he can get into the top 3, then that would be an excellent job by himself. Crosses the line, goes more than the top 3, goes into the top 2, and puts himself onto the front row of the grid for now. Then, there. Lucky Egg rounding the final corner now for himself. Don't think he's on an improvement. Looks like he's had another lap where he's had to recharge that battery and try and go again. So let's see then how Man's Not Bob is getting on, as he's currently with Dan in the hunt for pole. Then here, 95 thousandths up in the first sector of the lap, as he will head up the hill, then 5th gear through there, then back down the hill towards the valley, and then towards the chicane. After this, a little bit too much curb for my liking there, but so long it's quick, he won't be complaining, and he's about 1.5 tenths up. So only Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2 to negotiate then, as he heads down the hill towards them. And these final 2 corners just about keeping it calm and smooth. Into Ravazza 1, into Ravazza 2, and takes the shortest run to the line, keeps the car to the right, goes back onto the front row, but misses out on pole. So that means Dan will be your pole sitter for today and for this qualifying Grand Prix around here at Imola. So, if you want, feel free to go through the grid order for us.
The Kingdom has achieved more World Drivers' Championships than any other country, over a quarter of which was won by Lewis Hamilton. It's almost a given that the drivers on the grid today were kart racing as children, so they could enter the sport with as much experience as possible. It hasn't always been like that though. In the 1950s, the average age of the drivers was 39, with 3 over the age of 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian May ran off the ninth and
Cool. Thank you for that then. Right. So, into then the main race. Then we go. And how many laps is there around here? I think it's about what 27.
yeah, I thought it was into the 30s myself. Maybe I think it might be 27, 28.
Actually, it might be into the 30s. Actually, you might be right. It's usually a one stop. So,
Yeah, I'd say
well, no one will be going for that.
medium hard.
No, we are going to be going for the full wets, I reckon.
Yeah, it does look like it's heavy.
Yeah, very, very heavy rain, which, well, isn't ideal because unless everyone's put on extra downforce, probably might have been able to preempt that, to be fair.
Yeah, some people might have.
Indeed. For obviously the likes of maybe Charlie Harris and Appledorm, it makes sense if they went for 100% a full wet setup here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Considering that. But anyway, it is then green flag for the Imola Grand Prix, and it's go then for Dandan, who gets away well from pole, and that's Mufasa jumping then the Mercedes of Manzanar Bob off the start, who's dropped down into P5 then there at the start, getting jumped by the Alpine, and is that Tom also who might be getting past as well, not sure, but I think there was a few cars off in the background there, or certainly a few cars getting pushed wide. Ship is a legend, is going down the... Yeah, and that is a virtual safety car. So...
From what I can see, it's 4 cars all hung up in the. Quite loud full safety car, let's be honest.
No, it has been escalated to a full safety car, just see the yellow dot on my mini-map. So, yeah, full safety car then is been deployed and already got some penalties. Yeah, so already Ehrman picking up 10 seconds. That's not ideal. Far from ideal. Yeah, indeed. So, Ehrman is obviously going to have to try and, well, you know, probably make the most of that in the best way. But pretty tricky because I think you're only limited to 2 sets of the
Full
full wets, and then I think it's 3 of the obviously the inters. Even though we are seeing some cars put on inters, Iron Kid, Briggsy, and Charlie Harris now. That's interesting. I think.
Definitely, right. I still.
Yeah, indeed. So, obviously, as you rightly point out, unless they must be pretty confident with their strategies, obviously, with what they're doing, I'd say, personally, to commit to inters under this safety car.
Yeah, it looks like Charlie realistically has to go for a risky strategy. He knows his championship rival and leading the race. He's going to have to go something pretty brave, and I think those inters will be that strategy call that displaces him with Dan.
Yeah, so have to wait and see though. But the only thing, it depends how far, I suppose, the full wet runners can get up the road. Because if they can pull away, which they might do in these conditions, therefore, obviously that would, render the intermediate runners a bit useless, really.
But I think Comcom has come into the pits.
Yeah.
Put on a pair of intermediates as well. So maybe he sees something that the others haven't seen.
Yeah, potentially. But nonetheless, yeah, should be in this lap, the safety car. Which, if it is in this lap, then we'll get back to racing. Obviously, not the best turn 1 for obviously our races. However, it is very, very wet, so that makes it even trickier than what that chicane already is, because probably at the most ideal times, I would say you wouldn't want to put more than 2 cars side by side there.
Even then, it's very tricky.
Yeah.
To keep them both on track at the same time.
Indeed. Always, well, you had that incident between Max and Lewis 2021, where Max ran Lewis out wide, probably a bit deliberately, maybe, but.
As you always said, late safety car. It is called in quite late, but it's definitely coming in.
Yep. So Dan will then get us back to the green flag then here. In terms of pit stops, is saying 1 from the AWS screen, suggesting it has done, which, to be honest, I think you probably could get away with a no-stop race here if you wanted to, depending on how many safety cars we get. Anyway, we're back to racing then, and Brian is, I think he's under a bit of pressure from Ralphie there, and Ralphie's made the overtake into turn 1 before we get to turn 1, in fact. And Ralphie has dropped Brian a little bit because Brian's now falling into the clutches of his teammate, of Has Nagel, and Nagel's going to go around the outside, and that is then his teammate ahead of him, as Ehrman also goes around the outside, and also Neil swallowing him up potentially here for good measure. Obviously not ideal for Brian to lose about, 3 positions there on the race restart already. And, well, that is Ehrman off into the gravel, and I think he might have lost also a bit of front wing, as we now watch then Iron Kid and LCC then race each other. And those actual intermediates looking okay, especially at the moment. Looks like they're being competitive.
Potentially they're a bit of a nails hold back. But it's not. Those intermediates working wonders.
Yeah.
For this guy. Took the risk. You see the risk is paid off. Appledorn dropping down back to 19th now. He had a bit of a moment coming out of the chicane.
And you'd have to say it's the wet tyres that are struggling now, because the rain looking extremely lighter compared to where it was a few laps ago, actually. So probably the track is drying then here.
Ironkid now, the absolute. I think it was P13 or P12.
Yeah.
At the start of last lap, he's moved up to P6. He's having an incredible stint on those in the conditions.
Indeed, he is, and has a real possibility to potentially become the net race leader in this race now, with Charlie potentially getting P2 as was that Brian, I think, off the track again.
The gravel.
Yeah. As Iron Kid then going up the hill out of Tozer and gets the move done, moves himself up into the top 5. Then Briggsy is going down the hill and moves himself up the order, does he? Going to have to go around the outside, unfortunately not going to quite be able to do the move there, but does rejoin the circuit safely, and this is going to allow Charlie Harris an opportunity into the chicane. Hops and skips across the chicane, a little bit wide, out on the exit, allows Briggsy to go through, and that's Briggsy now back ahead of Charlie, up into 6th position.
I'll just keep an eye on the gap. When Ironkid went to 5th, it was a 2-second gap. Rafa was going to pits now, but he closed it down for 3 tenths. So that just shows how much quicker these cheaters are compared to the full wets. So that's shown now by a couple of guys entering the pits to get rid of their full wets to go on the intermediate tyres.
Yeah. Well, this is obviously the perfect scenario for Charlie Harris, who's had quite a fair amount of bad luck, actually, as of late. You could argue. And that's going to be probably a bit of a relief to the likes of Dandan, who can probably potentially make a cheaper pit stop, even though it's still a long way back to the pits from here, to be fair.
Yeah, the reason it caused it, I'm looking at it on the screen now, he has no front wing on his car. So
Yeah.
an incident in Sector 1 that caused that.
And, well, how long does this virtual safety car last? I reckon probably going to be at least another 40 seconds. So, might get a little bit cheaper pit stop than what you'd usually do.
Someone like Ironkid, Briggsy and Charlie are just hoping that it comes in now, basically. Get a nice jump on Dan and Bob, because surely they will be coming through.
And no, it didn't last 40 seconds, it lasted a lot less. And, well, that's unfortunate for then the 2 race leaders who are currently on those full wet tyres. So I suppose for them, they're going to have to maybe try and go as long as possible on those full wets to try and get the overcut sort of strategy to work here to try and build themselves a what you call it, offset in terms of the tyres.
Yeah, and I think they're going to try potentially go all the way to the dries if it does dry out.
Yeah.
I've noticed as well, under the virtual safety car,
Yeah.
all of his hard work potentially going out the window after that. Obviously, you can have to go through the pits. It's about 15 seconds loss, you say, to try through the pits. That can lead to a lot of positions and drop him back down.
Yeah, indeed. That could lose him indeed a lot of positions then there. If he does, when he does serve that drive through, which the music to Charlie Harris's is, to quite a large extent. As you can see, though, those intermediates working beautifully, though, for that Alpine and for Iron Kid, as it now is a Alpine 1-2, but won't be that way for long. Does have to serve that within 3 laps after receiving it.
He does that one more lap.
Yep, indeed. As he sets now the new fastest lap of the race, as he then chases down his teammate for the race lead then here.
Yeah, Alpine, the championship leaders, they'll be loving the sight of a 1-2 at the moment. I think that would definitely secure their constructors into this race.
Yeah. The only thing though, I don't think we've had a 1-2 this season, bar obviously Saudi Arabia with the Aston Martin pair. That was a bit of a, well, not an odd 1-2, it was a brilliant 1-2 really, but yeah, I think that's the only 1-2. In fact, it might be the only 1-2 I've ever commentated on in league racing overall.
I think that's a testament of many variety of drivers we've got in terms of across the board. It's not as easy to get to 1-2 as people think it is compared to you take a real life.
Oh yeah, it's a lot difficult, much more difficult it is in league racing and even in esports. That's even more difficult. The races are so close.
3 attempts between every drive there, first and last qualifier.
Yeah. Bit like IndyCar, really. Not sure if you're a fan of IndyCar.
Not really much. I know it's equal cars, really, isn't it? So no one's really got an advantage.
Yeah, indeed. I'm quite a fan of the IndyCar. As I've always said, it's all about you. Well, in a championship, all about your best worst result.
Yeah.
So yeah, especially in equal cars. Now Charlie Harris is about to take the race lead here, which he does so nicely, and that moves him up into first. So obviously,
Dan, you're pitting now.
yeah, I think you've got to, because stay out on those full wets, you're just burning up time, and that's not ideal for then the championship leader, who's currently 33 points clear, as you said at the start of the stream. So hasn't really got much to be concerned about, really, in terms of losing the championship lead today. But of course, would like to try and extend it if he could. However, he's now down to third.
Yeah, and you got Tom Carr chasing him on intermediates.
Yeah, so
it's time to come in for him.
Well, he's still sticking it out there for now, which is a brave move. However, he does have quite the gap back, I suppose, to Appledorm, which,
Who's also on the wet tyres still.
yeah, that might be the reason why he's choosing to stay out here, I'm thinking, rather than pit straight away.
Tom Carr now. Sure now when he can overtake rather than if. And if Dan's gone wide and Tom Carr's through.
Yeah, so that is then Tom up into third onto the podium, and that is obviously Dan off the podium then. So
You've got like an 11-second gap to Appledorm.
Yeah, that will be encouraging, but of course what won't be encouraging is the fact he's losing a lot of time to the race leaders. Got quite big gaps, obviously. Further back, obviously got Iron Kid right now pressurising then Appledorm into a mistake at the chicane, or not really a mistake, but just got through there quite nicely. And that is then Iron Kid back up into fourth behind his teammate, and got quite the margin to chase down, obviously, 10.5 seconds, but probably give it about 4 laps, maybe. That's
Three,
3-4 laps. Yeah.
In the media conditions, and those wedge surely now overheating.
Yeah, you would have thought so. As Ralphie is also swiftly through the Red Bull driver of Appledorn, who's now dropping down the order quickly. So.
And then you got Hash Nagao. The wet tyre runners are just losing positions.
Yeah, Hassan Nagao obviously looking to get the overtake done up the inside at Toza, and gets that move nicely done. And that's him up into 7th. Obviously, the good thing is for our drivers, fuel shouldn't be any sort of issue today. And in fact, you would have to say that it might be almost time for the dryers because it has stopped raining on my screen. So
It hasn't been on mine as well.
we're probably not far.
What it was holding out for was the dry conditions.
The only thing, though, is now they're going to be quite far behind, obviously. In terms of the gap to the leader already, Charlie Harris is almost a pit stop clear of then Dan, who's currently 4th. Got 14.6 seconds.
Penalty in the pit lane when he seems to be the first driver to come in for the dry compound. He has bolted on a set of the medium tyres.
Yeah, now that's a brave call to go mediums on a damp track, I think. Ideally, I'd say softs. Yeah. The only thing well, especially in like this sort of like wet condition, you'd want really on softs to give you most grip.
Yeah, I think medium now especially won't go over 8 laps, I think.
No, not at the moment. However, yeah, it does have a 5-second penalty, which has kind of been the story of Iron Kid's race a little bit here then. Drive through and now 5 seconds, so not ideal for him. Nope. However, nonetheless, he perseveres on in the race as right now Briggsy's also got 5 seconds, and that'll be something Charlie Harris will be delighted to see, is Briggsy with 5 seconds behind. So he's got quite the nice gap. Got about, well, if we add on that 5 seconds, he's probably got, because he'll have to serve out the pit stop, won't he?
Yeah, unless he stays on him immediately till the end of the race, but he'd probably finish last at that point.
Yeah, so with that 5 seconds added on, probably 8 seconds.
Dan onto the hards, Bob onto the medium, Apple's onto the hard tyres as well. So I think this is the crossover between dries and wets.
Yeah, probably is, as obviously Dan then got LCC Racing on the exit. He does get ahead of him, but, well, just interesting to see how quickly can he be re-overtaken. And, well, most importantly, though, Dan has come out ahead of his teammate, of Iron Kid, which I think be a relief for Dan there. Who was running in 4th. So
The position for Dan now is vital, considering one of his main championship rivals is currently leading the race.
yeah, and Briggsy's picked up another 5 seconds, so that's even more delight for then obviously Charlie, whose then real closest rival, you'd have to say, is Tom, who is then obviously, well, I think he's pitted, maybe? Or has he not?
He's just come up behind Briggsy.
Alright, cool. So
I think they've closed the 5-second gap because of that penalty that Briggsy picked up.
yeah, and he picked up another one, and that was LCC going off the track then there, as Dan goes through up into, well, 8th now. Lucky Egg in for his stop. Same with Mufasa. As we've got a lot of cars coming in, and Iron Kid has just overtaken his teammate into turn 1. Obviously does have on the slightly softer step of compound on those medium tyres, so should have a little bit better pace in theory at the moment on those tyres. So what tyres have our race leaders gone for? I think they've gone for
a mixture of hards and mediums.
Yeah.
There's one driver out there, Neil, for another lap.
Yeah, that's brave from obviously Neil then there.
Yeah, I mean, now it's bone dry. You don't want to be on winter conditions in these conditions.
No, not at all. Unless it was the last lap of a race, sometimes I've done that where it's just not worth pitting, but that's a completely different story. So, right now then, Robbo looking like he's going to probably breeze past the, Ferrari-powered Alfa Romeo car, of course. And, well, should probably get the move done down into Ravazza, and indeed he does.
Nice update on the brake.
Bit wide on the exit though.
Neil's going back at him.
Yeah, I think
And headed to the pits.
I think Robbo kind of got a bit caught out with the closing speed there on the exit.
Yeah.
Understandably so.
Neil's good at his key.
Yeah.
Kept up his minimum speed compared to Robbo, who went from high speed to low speed very quickly.
Mufasa right now chasing down then Robbo, who's currently in 11th. Robbo is, and Mufasa's 12th. So Mufasa's looking quite pacey then here again today. Maybe not as paceful as last week, but still looking competitive.
He's keeping a good pace of Robbo, considering he's on a much harder, compound. So in the truck at the moment, you let Robbo drag you along for a while.
Yeah.
And then once he's tired, I do believe that me and one of them will eventually unless he can last in over half a race distance.
Yeah. Well, obviously the dirty air effect doesn't really affect you as much, I don't think, in the game as it does in real life. Even though I have heard... Yeah, true. Heard it's going to be a lot worse in 24, apparently. Have to wait and see, though.
Yeah, there's not really other people. One that don't change the kit in that. A lot of people can really like them at the start of the game.
Yeah.
But I do hope they start implementing feature by day, but yeah, I'm not like where it's a lot more prominent.
Yeah, I do too. Obviously, have to wait and see. Obviously, last few F1 games been mixed reviews, of course.
Yeah. Over half I agree. I think there's like
Yeah.
so
What?
Someone like a Tom Car in P3, if he can keep Briggsy.
Indeed, will be. Even though it does have that 5-second penalty, 8 seconds now, or penalty, so which isn't helping out Briggsy at all. But it does help out Tom. And Tom's got quite a nice gap back to also Ralphie and Dandan.
Yeah, over 12 seconds, and the two Alpines closing on Ralphie. I think it's only a matter of time before they potentially losing more time to the front runners.
Yeah. However, DRS is very powerful, I think, around Imola, of what I remember. Only the one DRS zone. Which does make it, you know. No, you want to probably have the inside line and get that move done quite nicely before turn one, obviously. So, right, let's see if Dandan can get that move done. Could go inside or outside, up to him. Goes for the inside and gets the move done. Simple as you like. Then there. So, very decent. Well, move to get that then done. Obviously, is a DRS move. Which,
yeah. No, there isn't really much of that straight on the straight either, which is good. Doesn't have much depth overall. You want to keep as much as you can.
yeah, big mistake for Iron Kid, who's obviously dropped the car a little bit, and he's also lost a position because of that. So now behind man's not Bob, and that's Bob up into then P6. Obviously was on the front row to begin this race. Well, did have a difficult start to the race overall, but is now back into P6, into the top 6 then positions.
And I think with days like this, but I do think Bob has pace to overtake Ralphie on the track anyway.
Yeah.
Not say Ralphie's a slow driver because he's been one of my standout drivers this season.
To be honest though, Dandan has a good chance of getting back onto the podium here. Actually.
Yeah, he does. I think with that Briggsy penalty as well, if he can drop it to maybe like 7-8 seconds, I think he just wants to hope he can get in a big enough, a close enough gap to Briggsy so he can get up to the podium step.
Yeah. That'd be ideal for the championship leader. For himself, obviously. Does have a 36-point lead over Charlie Harris. And what is the difference for a win and third? I think it's, what, 5 points, is it? Dare I say? Yeah, it's 6. So, 7, yeah, sorry, 7. Yeah, you're right. So, if he can get, obviously, maybe P3, a fastest lap, who currently has fastest lap currently with Briggsy, so I suppose, yeah, if he can just get P3, I suppose he'd take that today. Damage limitation.
Yeah, I think strategy didn't go as well at the start. So Charlie Harris had the room to turn on it in quite early, and it came out in his favour.
Indeed. And that's a fantastic win for Charlie Harris if he does obviously take this win today around Imola. Of course, due to the fact, well, he started pretty much dead last, and obviously has risen through the ranks up into first. So got everything spot on then for himself at the moment by the looks of it.
18 places gained, which is unbelievable, especially for a championship fight where you're going into the race with a qualifying ban. You're hoping for maybe a top 10 finish, top 8 finish.
Yeah.
And win a race. I think he would have dreamed about this a couple of days ago, but now it's almost a reality.
In a way, like, you do wonder, like, sometimes when there's like turning points in a championship season. I'm not saying that championship season is back on for Charlie, but to get down to now 29 points potentially at the end of this race, if not more, could be very favourable for him. We know can all swing in a matter of seconds.
I think it definitely give him some confidence and momentum going into the last 2 races, knowing Brazil is a sprint, so there's more points up for grab there as well.
Yeah.
I think if we go back to the second place in the championship league, it's not been the best day for him.
No, he hasn't quite had the pace though this season, if I'm being honest. Like last season I thought he was fantastic. This season I'm not saying he's been bad or anything, but
yeah, I mean compared to last season where he was
fighting with you, like
kept
Because I felt really don't get me wrong, I felt he was maybe the quicker driver last season, but you was the more consistent one.
I
In the end.
He would our big theory in the championship side. I was on raw pace anyway, the slowest out of the three.
Yeah. But nonetheless, you got to be consistent to win a championship, and you did. So, you know,
Championship's never won over one lap.
no, it's won over many laps, like races. Probably about, I don't know, 200-300 laps.
Yeah, it's a lot. And other laps behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, that's another 200-300 on top of that.
Yeah, I think last season I was doing about 100 extra laps per race.
Yeah. Commitment. You don't get paid enough, really. Should start a union, a drivers' union.
I wish. I'll raise it to the Oscar race.
Demand fair pay. Anyway, back to the race. So LCC picks up a 5-second speeding in the pit lane penalty and has retired from the race. So that's not ideal. I think the interesting thing here, Dan isn't making any gains on Briggsy at the moment, really.
Yeah, 9 seconds, 10 seconds in Tom car. Tom car Briggs, I think, match each other lap for lap. It's been about 1.5, 1.6 seconds for the last 5 or 6 laps.
Yeah. For Manzanon Bob, he's in a fight with Ralphie at the moment. Just a little bit though.
It's nice and close. Also, Apple on the back of Hadge Nagao.
Yeah. Appledom does have though a 5-second penalty compared to Nagao's 3. He's going to go for a move. Lovely move to take that one then. Quite like that. Always like it when a driver goes for a move in a place you don't expect, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. It's probably one of my favourite moves to see on track.
Yeah.
I think a lot of F1 now, a lot of it's using the DRS straight, just overspeed the driver.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, overtake in a chicane, especially around the outside as well. It's always lovely to see.
Yeah. Don't really see much of it, really. And at Imola, very difficult track actually. No room for forgiveness at all.
No, not really anyone, especially in Sector 1 and the end of Sector 3.
I think the only runoff is actually up here, if I'm correct. And in fact, this year, I know they've got now gravel extended right up to that curb.
Wow.
So basically, yeah. Which, to be fair, I don't blame them. Good. It solves the. Well, it solves the track limit debate. You know.
Yeah.
But I've always found that silly. Just put grass and gravel, track limits is solved. Drivers won't go beyond it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, Appledorm's looking like he's about to make another move in here. And this is for P7 to take Iron Kid. And that is then him up into 7th. Next up to the road is obviously Ralphie. So P6 for Appledorm. That wouldn't be a bad recovery, I suppose, in the end. To be there. Yeah, and that one probably could hurt him the most, really, because that really puts him under pressure from Dandan.
I think that puts
I think he's already in P3 because it'll be 11 seconds. He's 10.6 behind leader, 21.5. So yeah, he's already technically in P3 if they finished the race on this lap. By my calculations.
if I had Dan, he's a driver that's net as much as it would be the point the penalty he wants to prove that he's the best.
Yeah. Yeah, like Max Verstappen, really. Always wants to prove.
He wants more.
Yeah.
He wants more.
I don't blame him though. That's it's the mentality you've got to have. Never be satisfied. Especially if you're like a goat to Formula One. You know.
Winners keep winning, like they say.
Yeah. So Appledorn up into 6th then, and that's him then ahead of Ralphie, and probably should be able to hold on to P6 now because he's around 2 seconds clear of Hasjer Eagle, who is then in 8th. However, Ship is a legend, is currently in 10th. He's, well, got
10 seconds off.
Yeah.
Off that group.
Yeah, nah. That was wishful thinking.
I think he's having the same thoughts. Maybe someone gets another penalty, maybe a slip in here, then one of the guys ahead, you can take P9.
Yeah. Good news for Dandan. He's gained a little bit more now on Briggsy, so
Yeah, he's definitely well in the window now to get the podium position.
yeah, by about half a second. So it should be good.
That'll be a couple of seconds. He got purple first and purple middle sector.
Yeah. Let's see if he does get that fastest lap.
Gareth Romeo going to get wide, maybe hindering his lap, but I don't think that'd be enough to slow her down.
There we go. Fastest lap to Robbo. So that's one extra point coming his way.
So it seems like Ferrari are going for a guaranteed fastest lap strategy.
Yep. Don't really blame them too much. They weren't really scoring, I suppose, big points they'd like, but at least they can get one extra point. Whether FCS and Shade can get it, not entirely sure.
Level.
True.
So he definitely has the battery to push for the whole lap.
To be honest, he's one of the, I think, the most improved drivers of the league so far.
Absolutely, I think when I first started racing him, that's not bad. He was a P12 driver. But I think in qualifying today, he got P5, P6.
Yeah, it's good.
He definitely massively improved over the course of this game. Which is
Indeed.
good to see. You like seeing drivers improve.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%. Like, it's good for us, good for them, good for everyone.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more exciting when the average player base gets better and better.
Exactly. Anyway, let's see if he can get them that fastest lap point off his teammate. Obviously, potentially can do this if he has a good lap. So, into turn 1, 2. A little bit of understiff through turn 2, potentially. Anyway, into Villeneuve chicane. And first sector's going to be 25 0.6.
Not the improvement he wanted.
No, probably first sector's too far off, really, than there. So, still potential for him to get P17. Oh,
Safety car.
well,
That's suggesting. Einkin is the unfortunate driver.
that's a very interesting timing.
It's an Alpine.
Yeah.
And the man that will benefit most is
Done.
an Alpine driver.
Yeah.
So of course you'd expect the 90% of drivers now to enter the pits, get a fresh pair of softs.
And Toto to send an email to Michael Massey.
Yeah, Charlie's in. 7 minutes penalty as well. I believe was that a bit of luck on my end. That might have been.
No, it was 5 seconds. So, and he is serving that penalty. So,
Briggsy definitely in the pit, 7 penalty. Dan stays out.
now,
Very smart from them.
I think that is very, very smart from Dan. Because not only can he control a little bit of the pace, but don't forget, Charlie has a 3 seconds.
So, and Briggsy has 11 seconds, so.
If Dan can survive at least one DRS attack, I'm thinking here, because I reckon safety car be in immediately. End of this lap. So long he survives potentially one lap behind, ahead of Charlie into turn 1, then I reckon he has a potential to finish ahead in this race. Potential. But Charlie Harris has just overtaken him. Not entirely sure.
Did I miss something that I didn't know?
I have no idea. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened there. But anyway, we move on. We live, I suppose. Yep. So still be a good result for Dan, because he should finish on the podium here at least, at minimum.
Yeah, so obviously it's the rest of the fresh soft runners.
Yeah. So
Ralphie's just got up at the back of the pack.
there we go then. Charlie has already gone, and he's obviously, with them fresh softs, managed to get away well. And it's then Dan, who's under pressure by a ghosted car, but got 2 ghosted cars actually between himself and then Briggsy, who's got that 11-second, worth of penalties. So
Potentially is Dan may have tried to let the ghosted cars go through, and Charlie's just nipped himself in front of Dan.
yeah, obviously, not sure though. Have to wait and see, I suppose. Presume there'll be talk of it in the Discord chat. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we'll see. But it does seem like Charlie will get that 3-second buffer.
Yeah, which should then secure him the race win. But actually, Dan's holding on really well, ahead of Tom and Briggsy then here. Like, he's not even at threat of being overtaken at the moment, really. And he's still holding on okay to Charlie, but should get that 3-second. There you go.
Yeah, that's Charlie. I believe if everything goes his way, that's the race win for him.
Yeah.
I think Briggs Dan knows Briggs as well. He's got 11 seconds of a penalties. He's not going to be massively under threat.
No.
Briggs does overtake him.
because he's also got a little bit of a gap behind Tom. So obviously, I think really he should be able to hold on then here. Fruitosa looks okay. Briggsy gets a much better exit, and that should be the move done for then Briggsy. So really, I guess it's all eyes on Tom and Dandan, but well, where does Tom get this move done? Obviously, maybe around the outside here.
Here you go. For Dan, I think Dan knows now he has to, I could say, a defensive move on, but doesn't defend as much as I thought he would.
No, maybe a slight mistake. I'm thinking there. That was.
Maybe, and here comes Bob.
Yeah, but I think Bob's going to run out of corners. Potentially, but it's going to be actually very close. Potentially a run to the line.
Dan just nicked it.
Yeah, and that is then the podium for Dandan. In the end there. So they all come across the line. Briggsy drops down to 8th. That's painful.
I think we do have to focus on a wonderful drive from our race winner, Charlie Harris, with arguably a masterclass, some would say. I think started P19th, made a risky gamble to go very early on intermediate conditions, on intermediate tyres. It paid off tenfold, and then from there he just completely run off with the race.
Yeah.
Great strategy call made early on.
Indeed.
It's a win he needed for the championship to keep himself in it and into the final of the races.
And thoroughly deserved, really, to be fair. Because after, like, I kind of hate late safety cars like that because they're always a bit of a luxury. Or, not luxury, lottery. If you know what I mean. Can ruin, well, can make your race, can ruin your race.
Yeah, I think if you're a driver, like, in Charlie's position, if you're at the front of the race, you don't want the safety to come out.
I know, that's the last thing.
Like Dan wanted the safety car, which I'm surprised he stayed out on those hard tyres.
Yeah.
It's on like Charlie, who is a very quick driver.
Yeah. No.
It's really so difficult to catch him.
But in the end, Dandan does get the podium, so I'm sure he'll be satisfied with that to some degree, especially after the difficult first stint. So I'll go through the race result then. So Charlie Harris takes the win and the fastest lap with a 1:16.67. Then we have Tom in P2 and Dandan in third. Fourth is Manzanar Bob. Fifth, Appledorm. Sixth is Ship is a Legend. Then seventh is Has Joe Nagel. Then it is Brizzy in eighth. Then Airman in ninth. And Ralphie rounds out the top 10. But obviously still scoring points outside the top 10. Then we have Mufasa Lucky Egg in 12th. Then Neil in 13th. 14th we have SES and Shade. Then Brian in 15th. Robbo is 16th. And then Valsey is in 17th, and Iron Kid is classified, but 4 laps down it's saying for myself. So there we go. And then no or none finishes LCC, and I think that was at the back there, Gavin, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that one, I believe.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah, never really got to show what he could have done then today. So yeah, so that has been ERL IN2 then for this week, round 10. So obviously next week is going to be Brazil, the penultimate round of the championship, and of course a sprint, which I look forward to seeing you then. Anything you want to say on closing off remarks?
Everything being said, wonderful race. I'm looking forward to the sprint race next week.
Sound. So I look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a good week. Keep safe. Peace out.